Hi everyone, my name is Tess Weckerly-Healy, and I'm excited to introduce you to my project, Roots of Change. This is a podcast series designed to explore local environmental advocacy, urban development, and social justice in our community. The goal of this project is to reveal how getting involved in local environmental policy shapes our environment and our lives every single day. Mountaintop goal. When I started this project, my mountaintop goal was to empower a new generation of student advocates. I wanted to give my peers the tools to become active participants in local land use and environmental policy making. SMART goals. To get there, I refined my focus away from dense, dry legal analysis and lean more heavily into student-centered activism. I set some SMART goals to keep myself on track. I secured professional recording gear for clean audio quality. I interviewed academic experts and launched our Instagram page to market episodes directly to students and drive meaningful engagement. Progress in interviews. So I created our series title and finalized this logo using Canva to reflect the core values of growth and systemic change. I also completed the comprehensive final script for episode 1, which is titled The Battle for the Good Land. A massive part of this progress came down to research. I conducted 7 detailed interviews. First, I sat down with 4 academic and professional experts, including local urban planners and UCSB professors, to anchor my script in policy theory. Then, I interviewed local journalists who have explored our region-specific land use battles. Finally, I spoke with veteran grassroots advocacy leaders to understand the long history of growth control initiatives in our area. That brings us to our first major case study, the clash over Goleta's development. On the left side, we have the Keep Goleta Country movement. This group successfully passed Measure G back in 2012, requiring a citywide vote to rezone any agricultural land larger than 10 acres. Their clear intent was to stop urban sprawl. On the other side of this slide, we have the urbanized Goleta perspective. This side argues that when we reject small urban density locally, it forces working class residents and students into long distance commutes from places like Lompoc, Ventura, or Santa Maria. The takeaway from this first episode, from my perspective that I gathered through these interviews, is that preservation becomes gatekeeping when environmental arguments are weaponized to block multifamily affordable housing. This inadvertently skyrockets regional greenhouse gas emissions via things like long commutes. Environmental review tools are also often used as legal shields to stall or completely kill dense developments. This introduces the sprawl paradox. Restricting housing in Goleta does not magically eliminate the carbon footprint, it just displaces it. Because Roots of Change is all about moving from education to action, this slide breaks down the 4 specific levers of power specific to episode 1, where students can make a tangible impact and take action. Through the episode, students will learn these 4 tools and how to apply them. First, I talk about the housing element. Students can participate in city workshops to actively back up zoning near transit hubs. Next, I talk about the importance of the Measure G campaigns. And I tell my viewers that we can shift our advocacy to direct peer campaigning like Measure G did and campus mobilization. Next is CEQA comments. We can submit public comments using exact data from these CEQA documents to back low emission, dense infill growth. Finally, I talk about direct civic presence and how important that is. Giving a simple 2-minute public comment on how housing scarcity hurts students carries immense political weight. Vision for the future. Looking ahead this summer, stay tuned for Case Study 2, where we will dive into the complex environmental policy battle surrounding the Sable offshore pipeline. My vision is that as our digital engagement scales up, we'll transition more and more listeners into active local policy participants. Because of the low-cost infrastructure and donated studio equipment from my job at UCSB Photo and Video Services, This platform can be sustained independently long into the future. Reflections on leadership. This project has completely redefined my understanding of leadership. On a professional level, maintaining consistent strategy sessions with my mentor, Jordy Scully Taylor, gave me a lens into real-world legislative dynamics. Another huge part of my growth during this project was stepping out of my comfort zone to do the 7 interviews with academic experts and journalists. Learning how to reach out to them was a really good skill I developed. I learned a lot through this project, and most importantly, I realized that if we want to drive meaningful, permanent change in our communities, we must take the time to understand policy and activism. Thank you all so much for your time and your support. I want to give a special shout out to my mentor, my interviewees, and everyone who helped bring this first episode of my podcast to life. Please follow roots_of_change_UCSB on Instagram and click the link in our bio to listen to episode 1. Thank you.